Hey, welcome to Ice Age TV, and what am I doing today? I'm going to show you install slip-on mufflers on your brand new CVO Road Glide 2023. I just bought the Khromewerks. The Khromewerks are actually the company that make the heat shields, so the theme of the exhaust will stay exactly the same if you buy the Khromewerks Dark Platinum. This is the Dark Platinum CVO package, paint theme, stripes. And so you need to go to Khromewerks to match that exhaust all the way through. If you want to do a whole head pipe, that's a whole different ball game. But if you want to match that, Khromewerks is the company that makes these heat shield covers, so it'll match the new exhaust. 4.5, a little bit more of an aggressive exhaust. And I got the tuner kit for it, which that is right here. So follow me along as I do the removal and install. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to remove the saddlebags. Before I get this motorcycle up on my lift, up in the air, I'm going to remove the saddlebags. It's easier to do it on the ground. Before you remove the saddlebags, it's common sense. Get all your gear out. These are easy twist knobs to remove the bags. And you should have a plug here for the electronics. I would assume that. Don't think they've gone to the wireless, so there's probably a plug behind this panel right here. They redid the 2023 CVO lineup. It's a whole new platform. I've done a lot of the previous generation Harleys, exhaust systems, bag removal, side panels. Have never done this new generation with the 121 motor. So let's see how we remove the side panels without damaging them, and what other things we got to do unplug to get that bag off without damaging it. Just unscrew these, and oh wow, so the easy clip used to be this simple right here, is right here. Usually used to be tucked up in there. So let's see here, see that? Pretty cool. Now my Indians saddlebags have feet on the bottom. Just set them on the ground. Did Harley get that smart? I doubt it. So no, Harley didn't get that smart to put feet in the bottom, but I got a rubber floor, so I'm okay. So Harley did a good job making the base of them real flat. Most of those are just sitting flat and they're fine. So here's the Harley rear suspension, which shocks. I don't know, it doesn't look that exciting. Here's your adjustments, I guess. And here's your actual adjustment here to increase or decrease the pressure on the shock. So what's interesting is the new sidebars, or the saddlebag protector bars. That'll be interesting. But now what I'm going to do, I'm going to put the bike up in the air, so now I'm more at my height of the motorcycle, so I'm not bending over. Boy, oh boy, in hindsight, I wired this whole shop, this whole barn, when I rebuilt it. I should have put a lot more plugs in this shop. I mean, I put a fair amount, but should have put a plug there, should have put a plug in the pole there, on there. I mean, look what I've had to do. Look at this. I just don't have enough plugs. I have to get creative with all these extension cords. So wow, yeah. All right, let's turn on the compressor. It's so noisy. I hate that thing. One thing you always have to be worried about, once this bike starts lifting off, is it going to hit this light? Will the front of this hit that light? Will this hit the ceiling? Yeah. Yikes, right? Turn off. All right, so now we go down a little bit to lock it in. You can set at different heights. See that? Isn't that cool? Whoop. No, don't do that. Just the little things. Okay, so now this is, to me, is a better height for me to be able to work on the bike. Got a nice light here, I think it'll turn on as well. Well, now I know where all the tennis balls are going. Yeah, ping pong balls, everything, right? Never gonna have too much light, can you? See there? Huge difference now of me seeing what's going on here. Look how dirty the bike is. You just don't see it again under the real light. So now we're gonna remove, I mean, this slip-on exhaust is really simple. You're just taking 2 bolts off, loosening this exhaust clamp here, and then since this is such a new bike, it should slip off pretty easily because it hasn't been ridden that much. And I don't need to get a new exhaust clamp. They recommend that if you have more than 500 miles on your bike. I've done these things with more miles than that. So, all right. And then I got my other light right here, which is pretty cool. So I get some more light over here as well. So I just thought of something here with my new saddlebag protector bars. I bet you I'd be wise to put those on now, because see how this assembly is part of this muffler. So probably when I take the muffler off, I'll probably take that off and put that new assembly on. Well, maybe I don't have my Harley hat on, right? Am I official now? Huh? Gotta get my tools now. Never ending space. Clutter, clutter, clutter drives me nuts. I clean the bench up. There's all these stories. You clean the benches up and they just get trashed again. Anybody remember the Orange County Choppers or senior and juniors always fight about that stuff? One thing that makes no sense to me about these Harleys. So the left side, 14 millimeter. The right side is 15 millimeters. So when you go to take off this exhaust clamp, 15 millimeter, 14 millimeters. It's opposite. It's 2 different sizes. Having the right tools is huge. Milwaukee, only way to go. See that? Nice and loose. Wow, there's one thing I have so forgotten to do. And I don't know, this thing's in neutral or first gear, because we got to do it before and after exhaust note. Wow. All right, she's in neutral. Let's sure hope she shouldn't jump off the lift. Okay, so here's the before. So there's the before. How much difference will it be? I mean, it's just a slip-on muffler, so I think it'll be nice, but it's not going to be radical like doing a whole head pipe and then taking out that nasty catalytic converter. But the Harley says there's no tune to do that right now. So if you do that right now, Harley doesn't have a tune. Maybe Vance and Hines has one. I think it's probably early, but I don't know. And there anybody out there that's a first-time watcher, first-time learning, when you take the back pressure off of this engine with all the electronics, ECM, these things are so emission compliant, you have to retune the ECM. So you have to have a tuner for these motorcycles to run right. Otherwise, you will end up having too lean or too rich a running engine because of that exhaust being taken off, and then you really have the possibility of burning up a piston, your valves, doing damage to the motor, and Harley's not going to cover that. You're going to be on your own because you voided the warranty. So this is a Harley Davidson backed product. With me putting this muffler on, if anything goes wrong, as long as the tune was done right, they're going to back the product. Well, it's numerical order. 13 millimeter socket, 14 millimeter socket, 15 millimeter socket. So just so you know, once again, having the right tool is pretty cool. Wow, look at this. This thing here, this thing just is walking right off this thing like nothing. Boy, that's a rarity. So, a little warm right there. Look at that. Bing, bam, done, right? Yeah, the right one is always more challenging. And the reason, it's a bigger pipe. This is a smaller pipe here. So, when you start fighting this one, don't be scared. It's just because it's a bigger fitting. And it'll come. Just wiggle the hell out of it. Move the hell around. It'll come off. Making progress. It came off, no big deal. You can use WD-40. I'll probably put some WD-40 on these pipes when I get ready to put the new ones on. Just because it'll make it easier to slip on, to clamp and all, but it gets awful dirty, doesn't it? But here's the you kind of really get to look at the bike. One nice thing about these lifts, if you really want to detail your bike, you really get into these bikes, taking off saddlebags, getting in the wheels, the hub and all. So it really is nice. These lifts have become very expensive. There's a lot of cheap ones out there. I'm just telling you, when you've got a $40,000 motorcycle and you're going to go buy a $300 lift, I'm sorry. I'm just not up for that. I worked so many years, my hands and knees. I mean, even every now and then, it's so hard to get everything out of the way to get to this. I just do it on the ground. I've done many jobs on the ground, even having this. But it is nice. Okay, so what I was thinking is accurate. To put the new saddlebag guard kit on, got to remove this. You get a whole new one, whole new assembly here. Side panel has to come off. Seat has to come off. Which, do I have to lower the bike? I don't think I have to. I think it's pretty simple on this. And anybody kind of watch my channel here, I wish I would have bought 2 or 3 of these Jesse James toolbox kits. They're so nice. This is from like 2004 from Sam's Club. This is the Jesse James tool set. Just wow. I can't believe that I didn't buy 2 or 3. This was like $350. I mean, it's a steal. And I've been able to keep 99% of all the tools. So thank goodness it kept the same idea of a quick release here. Should be the same thing for the seat too. See right here, you should be able to just loosen these nuts and the seat will lift off. And there you go. It's pretty cool. You could definitely make this into a little bit more of the bobber road glide, I guess. Take off that rear seat. Don't know what the accessory is yet for that, but sure there'll be a lot. Big old nuts here that come off the studs. So the seat should just now lift right up and come off. See that? I got the fittings here in my hand, but I mean, look at that. That's really nice. I'm glad Harley is getting a little smarter and making it a little easier to do things. Right now, this seat should just slide up and pull back, and see that? And take it off. Side panels, usually it's just rubber grommets that hold these things in. So they're usually very easy to just pull out here. Don't be scared to pull. See there? Just plastic fittings with rubber grommets. So put your nice side panels. I was wondering how they did the battery tender. And I kind of hooked it over here. So pretty cool. This thing's not even, look at this. This wasn't even preloaded. And that's something. So I'm riding around the bike. It's not even really set up the way it should be set up. Same thing. Just pull. Don't be scared. Just pull. This stuff just pulls off. Not a biggie. And just put it another way. So I can get it all scratched up. And look at all the technology. Look at this. The brake valving. This has to be that rider whatever setup. Oh, what is this here? Interesting. I have no idea. No, you think that would be like the headset or something for your headphones. I have no idea. And then it's supposed to be the plug for the ECM where you plug this thing in. Is this it here? I have no idea. So that's a whole other project. Yeah, that's got to be it. That's just a dummy. That's just a dummy socket. That's got to be where you plug in the tuner. Right now, try to figure out where, oh, here it is. This is it way up here. So this bar right here apparently goes up here like this and that. That's what it looks like to me. So now we're going to take off the existing bar, get that out of the way. Taking the bar off, you need a 14mm socket on the one end and a T45 star Torx on the other end to be able to get it off. Oh, good old Harley. So the back is different. That's a 40 instead of a 45. 13, which I don't know, maybe that's a 9/16, half inch or something. It's a little loose, but I'm going to make it work. So two different size nuts. 14 up here, right near the, wow, isn't this interesting? So I just noticed this, when I take this off, this assembly comes apart with it. So that is a 14mm there. Who's on the job, right? And my video's that boring? Yeah, 5 dogs laid out, knocked out. Yeah, so what's pretty cool here is the Jesse James tools. Remember I said I had Jesse James tools? Can you read that? Probably not. Why is that not picking that up? So you got to put a 14mm wrench behind this in order to get this nut off. So it's just project after project. So funny, why is this camera not pick that up? There it is. The old bar is off, but now what's very debatable is, do you put the bracket on here first or the bottom one first? Making headway, so this is pretty simple. You put a bolt in up here, they give you an extra bolt to go into the frame. Screws right in. Then when you put this back together, make sure you put this hose assembly behind it and not in front of it. And the bar in the bottom connects into this right here. It's pretty simple. I'm going to leave things a little loose just to make sure everything lines up before I start tightening things down too much. I just put on the rear support for saddlebag. Reuse the exact same nut and bolt that you took off. And then be sure you slide this in. This slides into this assembly right here. Then they give you a, I mean, this makes no sense why this wouldn't be black. You should always change it up if you want, right? Particular. But anyways, so pretty simple getting this on, but I wouldn't tie anything down. So you got this lined up here and that through that little hole. T45 for the top here and that bolt right there. All right, making progress here. Got the saddlebag guard on. Got this here. They want you to use every freaking tool you can use. I mean, now I'm at a 7/16 on this nut right here, and a small Allen on this one here, a 3/16. I mean, is that what it is? Yeah. So you gotta use a lot of tools, but we're getting there now. I'm gonna take this rubber mount assembly off and get it onto here. That'll be fun. Well, that didn't go as bad as I thought it would. I got this out, but it's such a new bike. It's not that hard to do, but boy, if this was the older rubber, see here, it just literally pushes out with your thumb. It's not hard at all to get it out, but like I say, an older bike, this is just really rough and tough and hard to be very hard, so it comes out pretty easy. On the right side of the bike now, as I was saying earlier, I wouldn't tighten anything up. See here, this just slips back over. This slides into this tube right here. See that? So you just kind of want to put that in like that. And then kind of lined up over here with that. So just keep everything loose. Good deal. Got both sides on. Definitely have the muffler off. Definitely is easier. I don't think you have to take the muffler off, but it's definitely a lot easier. Now the question is, do I get motivated to clean this all up in here before I try to put the muffler on now? I'm going to put this one more rubber grommet and bracket on right here, which I was just showing you. It's not that hard because this is such a new bike, but it just literally pushes in. You have two hands. Just in one hand I can probably do it. Let's see here. Not really, but yes, let me try two hands. Got it. So that's on. So now clean up my area a little bit. Don't need as many tools, I don't think. And let's get the Khromewerks slip-on mufflers on and see how we make out here. I think I'm going to clean up in here a little bit before I do that, so stay tuned. Yep, there you go. Recycling at your best. German Shepherd puppy can recycle cardboard for you. Alright, how about that, huh? Alright, the moment of truth. Let's take these things out of the box. And what do we have here? They're black, don't they? Look at that. They're black, yeah. Voila! How about that, huh? Is that pretty or what? How about that there? Is that pretty or what? It's it. Yes, it is. Okay, I just got the slip-on muffler put on, and if you get any fingerprints on this thing, I highly recommend you get them off that muffler. Once you start this bike up, they're going to probably mark it. So be very careful on any type of smudges on this muffler. Get them off where you started. Look at that. Exact match. I like the slash tip, and I like the black. Sales guy, parts guy, I felt like that didn't look good, but I think it looks fine. Making headway. So I've got the left side on now, and boy, I tell you what, I use this stuff right here. I really soaked the tips of these pipes on the receiving and the input, just to really, and the clamps. I mean, you really need to do that. That way just things slip on a lot easier. And then just be sure you wipe down the pipe after you get your fingerprints all over it with, this is ammonia-free glass cleaner, spray away. So now, before I tighten these down, I want to make sure these exhaust is proportional in the back here, because these little brackets, they move around, and I had to take them apart. So you say, oh, you're not lining up right. No, these move. But the most important part is make sure this is all the way up, which it is. We see here, matching up there, so that's perfect. And on the other side, see up here, it's matching perfect. And now you just want to make sure that when you look at the side of the bike, those exhaust tips are even. And now you can just measure off of this here to this here, and that'll tell you. All right, so I mounted them up just loose, and right now I'm like 6 3/8 off of this one, and I'm 6 3/8 off of this one right here. So I'm pretty damn, they're within 1/8 of an inch. I think I'm pretty good. So they're like right there. This one here, actually, believe it or not, can go in a little further. This has a little bit more room, but I pulled that out a little bit, but I don't want to get it too separated from up here. So there you go. The moment of truth. First time I've ever heard the 121 motor with a modified exhaust. So here we go. How do we think she's going to sound as we start her up? Hope she's in neutral, because always she goes off neutral. Thank goodness, hopefully. All right, she's in neutral. Let's sure hope she shouldn't jump off the lift. Okay, so here's the before. So there's the before. How much difference will it be? I mean, it's just a slip-on muffler, so I think it'll be nice, but it's not going to be radical like doing a whole head pipe and then taking out that nasty catalytic converter. But the Harley says there's no tune to do that right now. So if you do that right now, Harley doesn't have a tune. Maybe Vance and Hines has one. I think it's probably early, but I don't know. The moment of truth. First time I've ever heard the 121 motor with a modified exhaust. So here we go. How do we think she's going to sound as we start her up? Hope she's in neutral, because always she goes off neutral. Thank goodness, hopefully. Right now, look up here. This is all my spray-on lubricant that's coming off the exhaust right now, just to make things get a lot easier. And what'll be interesting is when you put the bags on, does it even give it more of a note? Okay, so what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna go ahead and put the saddlebags on right now, but I'm gonna put my seat back on first and kind of get everything back together. And I'm going to adjust my preload. Got to get my manual out and see what it says, but I'm a pretty heavy guy, so I think I need something pretty taut. We'll look at that and figure out what that should be, and I'll share that with you as well. Oh, the never-ending change. So the new Harley, you have to have the saddlebag off, get these panels off. The former Harleys, you could get the side covers off here without having to take the bags off. You can't do it. So prove me wrong, anybody out there. And possible, I guess. I don't see how. All right, seats on, side panels are on. I'm putting the bike down on the ground. It's so hard up in the air to do that right. You're better put it on the ground. And wow, I'm not going to do a tune yet. I'm going to ride the bike so the bike rides. I just think once you start playing with the ECM, it's such a fine line there. If you screwing it up or making it better, I'd rather ride the bike, just see how it runs. If she runs good, then I'm gonna leave it alone. All right, we're putting her down on the ground. How about that? Man, I can't wait to ride this thing now. Okay, she's back on the ground. Unstrap her. We're gonna start her up with the saddlebags on. And in fact, maybe we'll just do that right now. Let's just see if it has any more of a different type of rumble to it. Kind of now with the saddlebags on. Make sure the neutral light is on. But there, how about that? So that's a nice feature if you lay the bike down. Got a glimmer of hope of not destroying your saddlebags. Got neutral. Sounds good. I like it. Not too radical. it's not a big deal, but I just sort of see what happens first.